teammate couldn't handle it, but he's got the puck again. Silverberg as Raquel in front, back to the blue line. Fowler shoots, scores! The puck is contested, couldn't get it out. Back to the front of the net. Talbot's down, makes the save. Puck squirts loose, a backhand score! Ricard, Raquel, tie game!
Hello again, and welcome to Across the Pond, the Anaheim Ducks podcast, coming to you all the way from Glasgow, Scotland. I am your host, Tom Perrott, as always, and we're just going to have a chat about the Ducks, where we are, where we're going, and, you know, just the general rebuild and all that wonderful stuff. Just as a starting point, I'd like to mention that the Anaheim Ducks Across the Pond is now working closely with the Hockey Podcast Network. So that's something I'm very pleased to be part of moving forward. It's a thriving hockey community, which is difficult to find like-minded people when you live in a non-traditional hockey market. So thanks to those guys for seeing some value in what I do to bring us into their kind of family of podcasts. Check out all the stuff on their website as well. I'll leave links in the description and all that wonderful stuff as well. So moving on. So we live in a world where we want it now, and what I mean by that is everything is readily available. We can stream anything, anytime we want, and it gives us sometimes something called choice paralysis. You'll have experienced this yourself if you're of a similar age to me, then you'll be able to notice when it happens. It's mostly a great modern convenience, and I'm not moaning about it, but it also has given us a sense of entitlement, a lack of patience. We don't want to earn our dues. That's something that we can relate to what's going on in Anaheim. It sucks being on the losing side. There is nothing worse than watching a team that you love languishing in the doldrums. Still supporting until the bitter end. That is fandom. A 3 a.m. rise to watch the game, and you're fairly sure that your team will lose. When working the next day, it's a tough shift, but it's one that people across the pond will do fairly regularly. Hockey is the greatest sport in the world, and the playoffs are special. The intensity is unrivaled. In my opinion, it's such a tight league where any team can beat any team on the night, and it's because of this it's so hard to bag a cup. So working within the restrictions of the salary cap probably leads to many sleepless nights for all of the league's GMs. But this, as always, is about the Ducks. We know now that we are the number 2 pick. For all of you people who were disappointed, obviously, with Chicago picking up the number 1 pick. And again, it goes back to the point I was making about tanking. You know, you can tank all you like, but there's no guarantee that you're going to get that number 1 pick, and as people are saying, generational talent in Connor Bedard. That being said, you know, once all the dust had cleared, and I had some sleep, some coffee the next day, just before starting work, I was actually on the Hockey Podcast Network when the draft lottery was being announced, trying to hold it together, you know, fingers crossed and all that stuff, and hoping against hope that the NHL would see it in their glorious wisdom to give Anaheim the first overall for the first time in our history. Wasn't to be. I mean, you can say it's fixed, or you can just accept the fact that probability wasn't on our side. Because although we had the highest odds, you know, it's not going to go to the worst team every time. So it's just the way it goes. Swings and roundabouts. And now a quick word from our sponsors. Let's face it, with coffee starting at $5, £5 if you're where I am, sometimes even more, you know, even without any customizations, and our bank accounts always feel the pinch of that, then most people are really looking for a good deal, a good way to save some cash, but still keep the quality that you expect from your purchase. Enter Raycon. Yes, you've probably heard the name before. Raycon are the fastest rising headphone brand on the planet. Most people will recommend them because of 1, the price point, 2, the quality,
and where you can save a few pounds, a few dollars, depending on where you are. That's always a welcome thing in this climate. Most products do the same thing, but are priced differently, solely based on the brand name. So, you spend more money and ultimately you think you're getting a better product. That's not always the case. As someone who works closely with audio on a daily basis, I am actually a sound engineer, so I understand the need for things to work a certain way. Raycon is premium audio at the perfect price point, so you can listen to what you want, when you want, without breaking the bank. Say for example, you're on a long journey and usually you get maybe 5-6 hours out of your headphones. Raycon will last for 8 hours of playtime. That's good if you're going from one side of the UK to the other. Say you decide to go from London to Aberdeen by car. There's 3 customizable sound profiles, there's earbud tap functions, and of course awareness mode and noise insulation. So go to buyraycon.com/THPN today to get 15% off your order. That's buyraycon.com/THPN to score 15% off buyraycon.com/THPN. They have over 50,000 5-star reviews, so yeah, definitely go and pick yourself up a quality set of headphones, earbuds at a fantastic price point. Let's get back to it.
After the dust had settled and all the crying had been done and the conspiracy theories on Facebook were rampant, I started to see a change in the tone within the support, because everybody was so disappointed not to get Connor Bedard that they were mistaking the fact that Adam Fantilli is no consolation in any other draft, aside from maybe 1 or 2 in the last 10 years, then he would have went first overall. He might not be classed as a generational talent, but he's certainly a franchise guy. So he could be playing centre for Anaheim for a good few years to come. And that could serve us well. There's been a lot of talk about, where is the goals going to come from, because it looks like a lot of our creative guys are just that. They're creative. They're not going to be out-and-out goal scorers. And I'm talking about people like Trevor Zegras, Mason McTavish, these people that, they've got a good amount of quality to their game, but their finishing sometimes lacks. I think with Zegras, it's actually more just his choice making. I think he's got a lot of growing up to do when it comes to just making the right call on the ice that benefits the team. It'll come. I believe it'll come. I think he's got the quality to really turn heads in the future, and I'm glad that we have him on our team. Speaking about Adam Fantilli, I've seen a lot of arguments for Leo Carlsson as well, and I'm not going to sit here and say that Leo Carlsson is a bad player. And with our recent history with the Swedes, it's fair to say that if Bob Murray was still making these calls, there's a good argument for Leo Carlsson. I don't see how you look past Adam Fantilli, unless he decides to do another year at Michigan, which is something that's being spoken about, which could then delay him coming into the NHL, delay his development. Then I think there's maybe an argument at that point, but if he's raring to go, then we should be willing to pick him up at number 2. No disrespect to Leo, I think he'll be an excellent NHLer, but Fantilli has all of the qualities that excite me. He's a big lad, he's strong, and he's got good acceleration. Nothing like McDavid, but he's fast for a big lad. His compete level as well seems to be special. Watching some clips, and you'll see him chasing dead plays, finishing checks, and really just getting in the grill of the opposition. I've talked a lot about the need for the team, and one thing that's missing for me is just there's not enough steel and grit. This team is far, far too weak. We've got too many people that just people will take a run at, and I think having someone like Fantilli, he's no scared to get involved. I think that's going to serve us well. During his freshman year, Adam Fantilli became the first player to win the Hobey Baker Award since Jack Eichel in 2018 and Paul Kariya way back in 1993. That is not bad company to be in. I feel like the off-season could be a really telling point for us. There's a lot of talk as well, as there always is, about John Gibson, being up for trade. I've read a couple of articles recently that say that that's going to be done in the summer. I don't see, unless we get, something that we can't say no to, then John Gibson remains a Duck. I don't see anything from Gibson himself that would suggest that he's working a move out of Anaheim either. So, because there's always that thing, fair enough, the team is in a rebuild. When will we come out of the rebuild? When will we be competitive? John Gibson could very well find himself going to the likes of a Pittsburgh, but you could argue that Pittsburgh are going to have to go through their own rebuild when the likes of Sidney Crosby calls it a day. So Gibson could be chasing a championship by going to a contender that then is at the end of the run, and it doesn't serve him any better than, his time in Anaheim anyway. So there is that. I do feel like the future is bright. I say this a lot. The likes of Olin Zellweger tearing it up as well. I genuinely believe that there is a bright future in Anaheim, and if you stay the course, trust the process, you'll reap the rewards as a fan. I'm not going to sit here as a couch GM, because that's not what I am. I only care about the team doing well, the team thriving. That's what it is to be a fan. I would like to see us probably bringing in a wee bit of experience. There's a lot of talk of Austin Matthews. If that happens, I would not be unhappy to see him in the Ducks. I would be shocked, but I wouldn't be unhappy about it. I think we'll wrap it up there. Thanks a lot for watching, listening, depending on what medium you're using. And as always, let's go Ducks.